afternoon and welcome to Football League World TV. We've got something a little bit different for you this afternoon, something a little bit light-hearted. We hope you're going to enjoy it. My name is Sam Rourke, the Chief Editor of footballleagueworld.co.uk, and I'm joined by Ben Wignall and Adam Jones for this afternoon's show, where we're going to be discussing 3 EFL managers you'd like to go for a pint with. It's going to be an interesting debate. We want to hear your comments, whether you're watching this on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Get yourself in the comments. Are there any EFL managers you'd like to go for a pint with? We'd love to get your thoughts on that. But first of all, Ben, how are you getting on?
Yeah, all good. I think the transfer window has, come and gone. It's died down a little bit. We were all very busy in the latter days of January, weren't we? This is something nice and light-hearted to talk about. We did the away days debate last week where we debated what the best away days for the EFL are, and this is another little interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly something a little bit different from us here at Football League World TV. Adam, how are you getting on?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. I don't really drink usually, but lately I've been a little bit because obviously my club at the moment, so I think I've needed it. But no, I'm really excited to get into this one, and I'm really excited to hear Ben's picks as well, because it'll be interesting. I've kind of come from it kind of as a journalistic angle, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, just to confirm, it doesn't have to be a pint of beer. It can be a pint of Coke or lemonade, Adam, if needs be. But there we go. Please get yourself in the comments. Who would you like to go for a pint with? Which EFL manager do you think would be good value as you have a pint with them? So let's get straight into it. So, Ben, let's get your first selection then. Which EFL manager would you like to go for a pint with, and why?
Well, I wouldn't like to be that biased, but I do quite like our new manager, Ryan Lowe, and I think he'd be a decent man to go for a drink. I've been in the presence of him a few times now at Deepdale, and he's quite a good laugh. He speaks well. And I know you've had experience with him, Sam, at the Football League Awards. He does like a drink, so you say, and he likes to have a bit of fun. I think we can all agree Scousers are a bit of a good laugh. Yeah, he just comes across very well, I think, Ryan Lowe, whenever you hear him speak. Likes a bit of a banter with the journalists as well. So I think if you go for a pint of him, you're definitely going to get good value for your night.
Yeah, as you kind of already mentioned, myself and George Douglas, his assistant editor at Football League World, went to the EFL Awards a few years ago, and Ryan Lowe was very prominent at the bar, buying an array of shots and Jaeger bombs for the people around him. He was great value. We've got numerous selfies and videos that perhaps aren't best broadcasted on this live stream, but I think Ryan Lowe's a good selection there, Ben, for an EFL manager you'd like to go for a pint with. Nice one. Adam, who are you going for?
I'm going for someone a bit different. I'm going to go for Wayne Rooney. I think he probably deserves a pint after kind of recent months. And I'm not usually one to do this, but I might even pay for the first round just because of how much of a bad time that he's had at the moment. I wouldn't really want to really pick his brains about the current situation. I think that's probably best kind of kept private. But just the future, really, of Derby County. I mean, there are so many, talented young players there still, and the possibilities, if they get a new owner in are endless, really. Who would he bring in if there wasn't an embargo? What would a Wayne Rooney team really look like at Derby County? So there's a lot to ask him that I would like to, kind of in the present, I guess, is kind of what is the secret really to this season's performances, considering the end of 2021 wasn't all that good. What the hell has he done in the summer, to make their performances so good and their results so good? And kind of away from Derby County as well. I mean, when is the tipping point? When does it come a time where he eventually moves on to Everton? Is he committed to Derby County for the long term? I really want to know that as well. And would he perhaps even have a crack at the Man United job? I mean, it's a bit of a kind of a poison chalice at the moment, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to know those questions. I think he's had a fantastic career as well, so it'd be good to have a kind of chat with him and just about his playing career as well. So yeah, I'd enjoy a chat with him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got plenty of good stories to tell, given the amount of playing time he's had over his years and experiences he's had. Wayne Morden, as ever, great to have you with us this afternoon. Rooney does like a beer. There we go. That was Adam's selection. If anyone's watching this, would you like to go for a beer with Wayne Rooney? Do you think he'd be a good value down at the pub? Let us know. Right, let's look at some more of the selections next. Right, Ben, who would you like to go for a pint with as well as Ryan Lowe?
Well, I think I mentioned it just off camera. The thumbnail's got three managers in, and ironically, when I was making my list last night, all three were on it in a 4 or 5 man list, and one of them was Gareth Ainsworth, and he's another person with a Preston link. He's played for us a few times, and someone who's been linked with our job numerous times. And I know for a fact he does like to occasionally, when he's back up north, go out in Preston. A few of my friends from university have seen him out and about in clubs back in the years. Just you get the aura from him, don't you? Know that the way he dresses, he's very eccentric. Likes his music as well. He's just feels like someone who'd like to go down the pub with, but he's got a lot of stories to tell. You know, he's been about in his career, and he just seems like a decent bloke, really. Like I said about Ryan Lowe, Ainsworth is someone who likes to have a bit of banter with the reporters and journalists, and he's most importantly he's a good old northerner. Even though he is from Blackburn, he's got enough connections to Preston to make me like him. So yeah, Ainsworth's another EFL manager I'd like to have a few beers with.
Yeah, so I've heard through the grapevine that Ben, you're pretty good at karaoke. So say there was a karaoke night on at the particular pub you were at, Gareth Ainsworth could be quite a good person to do a duet with. Would you agree?
Probably, he'd probably carry it. I'm not a prolific karaoke expert. I've jumped on the mic 1 or 2 times, especially when I've been inebriated. But yeah, I think he'd carry the karaoke duet if that happened.
Nice. I'd love to make that happen. Let's hope we can make that happen one day. Adam, who else would you like to go for a pint with in the EFL?
I've gone with exactly the same. I've gone with Gareth Ainsworth. I think he lives locally to me as well. I think I may have seen him once or twice. I know my friends definitely have. Once in McDonald's, which is a bit of a strange experience to say the least. Get down the old Wetherspoons for a nice old pint. But yeah, I mean, the story of Wickham, I think, is just extraordinary, really. I mean, getting into the playoffs, with PPG, obviously with the coronavirus pandemic, and I'd love to speak to him as well about a final as well. And it's not just any old playoff final. It was a final against a reasonably local team, to him and to me as well. So it'll be interesting to see. What was the one big regret really that he had from the 2020-21 campaign? I know that they fought very bravely and they couldn't really have done much more to stay in the championship. But is there like a little tweak that he could have made? To make things better and to kind of get that survival, which would have been a miracle really. I think something more personal in terms of how hard did he find it kind of retiring? I know that he finished his EFL career at Adams Park, and it's kind of it's not as if he could really leave because he was still manager there. So how hard was it kind of giving it up and kind of hanging up the boots? And I think the most important question is a non-footballing one. I think Ben touched on it a little bit. It's just the fashion chips really, like the just everything about him. The open shirt. I mean, I don't know how he pulls it off. I wanted to give me a few tips on that. To perhaps find me a relationship. But yeah, I think. It's and also going back to Wickham. I mean, does he honestly think Wickham can win promotion? And what has he got to do to make them an established championship side for the long term? Are they going to have to move stadium, get a new owner, or get more funds, or whatever that is? So I'd be interested in both in footballing and on a non-footballing perspective.
Yes, it sounds like from both of you that Ainsworth could offer a lot in terms of various things. Fashion advice, dating advice, footballing advice. So lots of different elements. We feel Gareth Ainsworth could bring to the table. Get yourself in the comments. Would you like to go for a pint with Wycombe Wanderers manager Gareth Ainsworth? We'd love to get your thoughts. Right, let's look at the final selections next. Right, Ben, which other EFL manager would you like to go for a pint with and why?
I had 2 more on my list. I'd struggled to narrow it down. I had John Coleman on there, another Scouser. Got a friend who worked for Atkinson for a few years, and he said he's always been a laugh. And I think there's a very viral singing clip of him singing Elton John's "Step Into Christmas," which he'd be a good double act with Ainsworth on the karaoke if that ever happened. But I've gone for Chris Wilder. Whenever I've seen him, in interviews and whatnot, he just seems to be a proper decent bloke. And I think there's videos in when Sheffield United got promoted to the Premier League on the open top bus. I think he can definitely knock back a few beers when he wants to. So I think he'd be the kind of life and soul of the night, so to speak. So yeah, I think Chris Wilde would be a very, good shout to, go late into the night with you having a drinking. I think he could definitely handle himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, he's someone else that myself and George Douglas have been in the company with when intoxicated. I stupidly asked him the question, what do you think of Sheffield Wednesday? His answer, I will not repeat live on this show. Adam, which EFL manager would you like to go for a pint with, as well as the other two you've picked?
I think this is more of a kind of like a quiet kind of pint down near Wetherspoons, and as opposed to like going on a night out and going clubbing. Steve Cooper, I think he's got one of the most exciting jobs in world football at the moment. And I'm not exaggerating that, just because of the club backing and the potential of the club, the fan base, and also the caliber of the players that he has at his disposal. I'd like to ask him, what are the future transfer plans, really? FFP might be a bit of a problem in the future. What loans does he want to make permanent? I know that he's kind of expressed an issue with that. He wants to have less loans in the future. Would he have less players in his squad just to make sure that there's not too many loan players in there? And if he had to pick one player, he probably wouldn't reveal it to me, to be honest, between Jeb Wallace and Josh Bowler, who would he really pick? I guess Wallace is, more established, but Bowler is a younger option, and could probably sell him on for a bit more. So that'll be kind of interesting. How did he turn it around so quickly as well at the start of his tenure after Chris Hughton's departure? And also, I think for a non-footballing perspective, I think I've heard anyway from mates that a night down in Cardiff isn't actually too bad at all. So I'd like to take him back to his kind of home nation and have a night with him there. Perhaps have speak to him about footballing things, and then go out to a club. I mean, I've got this planned out in my head already, so I'm definitely gonna ask him about that. But yeah, this is mainly one about asking him like from a journalistic perspective, but also for a night out. I think he'd be down for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why. I've got a feeling Steve Cooper's got some really, really strong dance moves that kind of you don't expect him to, but I think he really pulls out of the locker when he needs to. But there you go. That's perhaps another debate. But there we go. Ben and Adam have given us 3 EFL managers they'd both like to go for a pint with, and why. Perhaps we'll do another show where we'll pick 3 EFL managers we wouldn't like to go for a pint with, and why. That could be an interesting debate. So potentially watch out for that. Well, that's it from this debate. Ben, Adam, thanks for joining me for this afternoon's show. If you did enjoy this, please do stick a like in below this video and subscribe if you are new around here. We do appreciate all the new subscribers that come and join us here at Football League World TV. We've got 2 shows coming up for you tomorrow. We've got the betting show at 10 o'clock. And then the EFL weekend preview show at 4 p.m. So plenty of content to get stuck into tomorrow. But from myself, Ben and Adam, we shall see you soon.